Guys, welcome back. It's Patrick Robertson here with Momentous Building, and we're going to talk today about heating systems in your house, specifically an oil burning system versus a tankless hot water heater. This is going to be really exciting as we jump into the industry. I mean, today with where we're at with fuel prices, this could be a huge factor in designing your next build. So can't wait to share what it's all about. Alright, so generally how most houses are heated is there's that baseboard radiator heat in your house that runs on the edges of the wall and the exterior of your house. Now that's actually hot water running through there that produces the heat, that gives off the heat into your house, that keeps it warm during the winter. And that's what's typical in most houses. So how does that water get heated up? Well, that's where your burner comes in, your boiler, that actually heats up the water and sends it through your house. Now, most commonly, it's an oil burner that actually burns diesel fuel and heats up the water from the flame and then sends it to your house to heat it up when there's a demand. Now, new technologies have allowed us to heat this water up through other means. Namely, propane is a good one, or natural gas. In either case, we'll use these as gas, as the same system can be used for propane and natural gas. So what are these new systems? Well, right now, really popular is what's being installed as a tankless hot water system. And what this means is that maybe down in your boiler room where your furnace is located, there's this big tank like this, and that's called a hot water storage tank. And basically what it does is the boiler heats up the water, dumps it into the storage tank, and then the storage tank has to keep 80, 120, sometimes it's smaller, like 50 gallons hot for the entire time until that every few hours where you want to use hot water. This system is really inefficient, as you can see that the hot water has to stay hot the entire time. Now, a tankless hot water heater, the reason why it's so efficient is that it creates the hot water on demand. So when it's cold out and your house needs to be heated up, it heats the water up on demand and sends it there. When you turn your faucet, it heats the water up and sends it there on demand. So there's no storage in this area. No need to just keep water hot to keep water hot. Now this can be done with an oil burner furnace where you burn that diesel fuel that's not too clean, and it can be done with a gas system. Now the cool thing about gas systems is that they are 98% efficient, unlike diesel or oil where it burns very inefficient. So there's some great savings in there, both from a financial standpoint, but then also for the environmental standpoint, we're not giving off toxic fumes and unburnt energy. So let's dive in to a tankless hot water heater versus a oil burner system, the pros and cons, and some considerations you might have on your next project or in your current residence. We'll start off with oil burner systems. I want to start with the cons, and keep in mind, this is what's probably in your house right now because it is the oldest technology, and right now it is the cheapest upfront cost to install. So some cons are, right now the cost of diesel fuel is rapidly rising. In fact, we only have 23 days as of recording this video, November 11th, that there are diesel shortages. We have 23 days of national supply in our and for diesel fuel. So that's truck drivers, that's your house, that's farm equipment, that's everything. Now that supply can go up and down, but if we don't continue to top off reserves as a nation, that can be an issue. So if it gets down to zero, it's going to get hard to get oil for your house. There's con number one, the cost of diesel fuel. And another reason is that it's highly inefficient compared to a gas system. It doesn't burn as clean, and the energy extracted from the oil is not efficient in actually heating up the hot water to heat your house. Secondly, commonly in older houses, oil tanks were stored underground. That's now against a lot of municipality codes, And if you sell your house or you want to buy a house, you might actually need soil test samples, and you might actually have to take that out of the ground it by the buyer's requirement just to actually sell the property. So there's some cost there. And then another one that we're going to see is that a con is that oil burners usually last in the 10 to 15 year mark, and there's an extensive service, about 4 hours of service that needs to get done every year to keep it maintaining properly, to keep it healthy and extend that service life. Otherwise, the corrosion from the oil burning can actually damage the system. Now, that seemed like all doom and gloom. Let's talk about some pros. Upfront cost, it's generally a little bit cheaper to have an oil burner in there. The storage tanks are a little bit easier to get your hands on. The actual burner itself is cheaper. Storage tanks are a little bit cheaper. And the equipment, so on average, it's about 20% cheaper. And now, although it's less efficient, gallon per gallon price for norms of what we see in America and not right now, oil is generally cheaper than propane or natural gas. So that really just covers the oil burner system that may be in your house, or if you're thinking about putting it in on your new build. Now let's transition to gas. Gas is typically a little bit more expensive to install in your house just because the equipment's a little bit newer, it's a little bit better, and generally if you want to upgrade your system or put it into your house, it's about $6,000 to have the actual boiler wall mounted for a plumber to come and install the system and connect it. There are some other costs that can be considered in there, like your propane storage tank, maybe some gas line running and some rework, but that's generally around where it's going to land to start off. Some other things is that cons about a tankless hot water system is that there is a maximum of gallons per minute that the water can actually be heated up and supply to your house. Some of the largest systems are around that 6 gallons per minute. Now, a typical shower is going to use anywhere between 2 and 3 gallons a minute for the shower head. So it'll definitely supply enough hot water for 2 people to be taking a shower at the same time. However, the demand might be too much if you have your dishwasher going, 2 showers, and it's in the winter so your heat's on. So in some larger residents and with larger families, we actually put in 2 tankless hot water systems. Some might be for half the house and the other half of the house, and this drastically supplies enough water for the rest of the house and to meet all the demands. So that's some consideration to be done. Now, it's not a doubling in cost when we add 2 units. It's usually, just the cost of the additional unit with some labor to mount it because the systems are all there and in place. So those are really the major cons of a gas. And here's another con, if you don't have gas in your house right now, whether it be a propane tank or natural gas coming from the road from your town, we're going to have to get that system in there and add it on too. So that's another con. Some pros to gas though, of a tankless hot water system compared to a storage tank oil burner is that it's almost 34% more efficient according to the EPA. Now, that means there's massive improvements in cost savings in the long run, and then also from an environmental standpoint, we're going to help save the environment. We're going to do our part to be making the smartest decisions we can for the future. So like I said, it burns a lot cleaner because it's so efficient. There's less yearly maintenance on a tankless hot water heater that is gas. Because it is so efficient, there's less particles in there, there's less junk, there's less fumes, there's less things to clog up the system because it's burning so clean. In fact, when you see an exhaust on a tankless hot water system, it's going to be like steam coming out. It's not even, there's no fumes, there's no nothing, where when your oil burner kicks on, you're in the basement or you're in your boiler room, you smell that. It's very, very evident. So, some other cool things you can do with a tankless hot water system, especially when it's gas, is that you can do a continuous loop system so that way you have on-demand hot water in your house. Now that was a lot of jargon, but basically what that means is that when you turn on your faucet in your kitchen or you turn on your shower, you're going to get hot water in between like 5 and 10 seconds rather than maybe the minute or 2 minutes that it typically takes. Lastly, you can supply all of your gas fixtures in your kitchen based off this new propane tank or this system that you can run off of. So everything can run off the same propane tank. Sometimes what we see is that homeowners have both an oil tank for their heating and then they have a propane tank for their kitchen appliances. No more, we can have one system to supply it all. And the cool thing about it is because it burns so clean, systems generally last around 15 to 20 years. In fact, we've seen some older ones, but that's just on average. So that brings us to our final part, because of course we want to make a recommendation on what you guys should do moving forward. So it brings us into 3 key areas, right? First, you got a new construction going on or a really large addition. We recommend always throwing a gas tankless water heater system in there, even if the upfront cost is a little bit more, because both the headaches that you're going to save from maintenance cost, the cost savings of fuel and efficiencies are going to be way better in the long run. And then lastly, it provides a better system for the house. It allows it to function better, gives you a lot more options. And the storage space, these things mount, they're like this big, and then get mounted on a wall, and that's it. There's no this big equipment or anything like that. And then the second category is if you're doing a remodel, you're adding some space on, and you have some additional heating requirements. You have an existing oil burner, and you don't know if you should rip that thing out and put a gas in, or just put another gas oil burner to expand your capacity, right? In this situation, we have a conversation. We're saying, hey, listen, we actually think it's a better job to retrofit your existing house, in this case, to put that gas tankless hot water heater in there because of the benefits we talked about that it provides, the efficiency, the low cost maintenance, the cost savings down the road. However, sometimes that upfront cost to rip out the existing oil burner, it's just not in people's pocket at this point in time during the project, and they rather spend it on other areas of the project. And we can respect that. However, the recommendation of the long term of what the benefits are is always going to be there to put in a gas tankless hot water heater system. And then the third option is if, hey, listen, I don't have a construction project going on, I'm not doing an addition, I'm just remodeling my bathroom, hey, listen, I'm not even doing any work at all. In this case, we'd say, hey, listen, get that oil burner, maintenance, keep it up to par, let it last as long as you can, try to get another 10 years out of it, 5, 6, 8, whatever, how many years it is, right? And then when the day comes and, hey, listen, this system is done and down and out, we say, hey, at that point in time, let's, instead of buying a new oil burner system, let's retrofit this thing, get the gas tankless hot water in here. We're going to get the benefits, you're going to get the cost savings in the long run, and the additional cost to change the system is going to pay for itself. So, a lot of jargon in there. I hope this wasn't too complicated, because basically what we want to help you guys do is understand the differences and the pros and cons in this case, and so you guys can make an educated decision. And I want to leave you guys with the long term here, because that's what we're really thinking of, is that the oil burner system is like the cheap, I'm going to save money today type of thing, and the gas tankless hot water heater is definitely on the, I'm thinking I'm going to save more money in the long run, but then also have a higher quality product with that too. So there's a quality standpoint there too. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys will enjoy this. If you have any questions about this, please leave a comment below so we can get that answered. Maybe we'll make a second video about this. If you have found some value, please give us a like, share with your friends, share with your other homeowners as we continue this journey onward. Take care, guys.